Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am super excited to be talking to Carlene today. First of all, she has said yes. She is coming officially to our retreat in Tulum, Mexico. That's going to be end of March, March 23rd through 28th. And, you've seen me post about this retreat now for a while. I think it's going to be amazing work. We're really going to shed those layers, shed those identities, and do some really deep work there. There's going to be two workshop days, full workshop days, and 2 days where we're just going to be one day visiting the jungles and cenotes, and then the other one visiting the Mayan ruins. So a lot of good activity planned. And also, the Tulum airport is open. So, for whoever is going to come, wants to come, we can go now to Tulum Airport. If your booking flights is TQO, so make sure you put that in because otherwise you might not get the Tulum Airport. I might send you to Cancun or somewhere else. And yeah, and the location too, again, it's Khan Tulum, which is in the jungle where about probably 5-10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, I know, more than five, less than 10, away from the beach, and it's tree houses, and it's just a gorgeous location, full of energy, and there's a cenote right in our hotel. It's a very small, private boutique hotel. So, everyone, now I want you to say hello to Carlene. And she is coming to do, well, she does a lot of different stuff, but for the purpose of this retreat, she's going to be doing soulography and embodiment photo shoots, which is I think fantastic. If you get a chance, go to her website or go to the retreat link. You'll see some of her work. It is absolutely amazing, gorgeous, and I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a photo shoot there as well. So I wanted her to come today to talk to you guys about what is soulography, why photography important general, why do we need to do it? And we're just going to take it from there. So thank you for coming here today, Carlene. Thank you for saying yes to coming to the retreat. And I'm super excited. And I know you already have some people that already said yes, and they're going to be doing photo shoots there. So tell us a little bit more.
Yes, thank you. I'm super excited to be joining this space in Tulum and bringing soulography to this space with you. Soulography is something I created through 20 years of studying photography, the art of photography, the process of photography. And then the last 10 years, I've been studying shamanism and energy work, and I combined all three together to create soulography. So it's this process of being seen through our own being. So being seen by our own self, using photography and energetic practices to move blocks in the body, to move energy within the body, so that we can stand in our truth and authenticity and stand in the world and who we are. So it's been quite the process of navigating it. And embodiment is a photographic process as well about reconnecting to the body. And specifically when I'm doing embodiment sessions, I love to incorporate the earth, water, the different elements, and how we respond to the natural world, and then within our own bodies, reconnecting ourselves to the truth of who we are, to our inner self. That so many of us, well, with just in our culture around this idea of like perfectionism and this idea of everything has to be put together and the vulnerability of being seen. I've in the many years of doing this work, have seen when a camera comes up, so many people all of a sudden are like, they have to be perfect, and it's almost intimidating to be seen in who we are. And so through these sessions, I've found a way to really aid people in connecting to themselves, in the raw, vulnerable parts of themselves. So a lot of these photo shoots, we're not using makeup, we're actually delayering, so less makeup and who we are, and how can we be seen in that, in this rawness of who we are and that our imperfections, or what I like to call what society says are imperfections, the things that we think are the things that make us different are actually the very things that make us who we are and make us beautiful. Um, so.
I love all of that, and I'm really excited. And I just want us to get a little bit deeper into why photography is important and for us to be seen that way through that lens.
Mhm.
And I want to use a little bit of my own example, give you some of the ideas, like what I went through, and get your thoughts on it. So, when I started, I did a photo shoot and with a photographer that I wanted to use for my business. You know, as a business owner, you gotta, since the business is me, you gotta put the photos out there. And I've never been one. I always liked like natural photos and something that represents me. And the photos did come out great. They were in my elements, and I loved every bit of it. And it did represent me, and it was a great process of sort of like, I think for me, because that was the first time I was coming out and saying to the world of this work that I'm doing, and it is a coming out. The pictures really resonated. It was like, oh, they do mirror that. And then as I grew older, and at that time, I think I still was coloring my hair, and which was, I had started a long time ago. And once you start, and those people, everybody knows, like, you can't, at some point you can't go back. It's so hard. And at some point, again, that was part of shedding of who I was, because everybody had told me, you can't have gray hair, you can't have this, you can't look that way in public. And I went into then just letting the gray come out. And there was a hard process at the beginning, and everybody was like criticizing me. Why are you doing this? Doesn't look good. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? Like, I don't care how it looks. I'm doing this because I just want my hair, whatever it is. And it was funny, even then, all the people that told me not to do it, after, like, I think it gave everybody a permission, sort of like when I came out and I did it, and it was like, wow, that wasn't so bad. And now all those people, they let their grays out. Or, at that point, I stopped wearing makeup completely. I never wore too much makeup, but I just completely put off makeup. And again, it was another one of the rules I had. In order to break it, I stopped doing it. And that was another thing I started seeing shift as well, because I did another photo session with another photographer. And those were like purely just like no makeup, all my gray, minimum editing. And it was, and I remember the day she was going to do this, I hadn't slept. I woke up with bags, and I just like was really tired. And I was like, well, should I cancel? I'm like, I look like a raccoon pretty much right now. I was like, no, this needs to be me. And we did those photos, and I loved them. They were so beautiful to me, and they were truly like who I was at that moment. And again, I felt it gave everybody permission to be themselves. And then I had the last round, which was the ones that pretty much everybody sees now on all my social media and out there. And I don't even know how that came about. It just felt right. I was like, I don't know why I need to do this. And I did it. And when I did it, I found out was because um, I had put somehow another rule of no makeup, which, I was conforming to. And because of other stuff, even the clothing I was going to wear changed. And that photo shoot helped me bring the balance of, no, I can have a makeup, but the makeup needs to be resonant
Mm.
with me. I can wear my heels again or this clothes. It's just that, whenever like it brought the things I had let go to break some rules and everything more in a balanced way together. So, yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts, and because that's why I think photography is important for people, whether you're in the business or not. It's going to take you. It is a healing process.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I went through the same process of coloring my hair and makeup, and you know, actually I purposely stopped wearing makeup for the same reasons. I was hiding behind it. I was, you know, red lipstick every day, hair had to be perfectly curled, platinum blonde or all black. Like there was no in between, and I would hide behind it. If I had to go out into the world, it was very rare if I didn't have makeup on. And I remember specifically there was a day I was walking, I don't know, I was in my 20s, and I was walking through, I was probably shopping or something, and felt amazing, and I was having a really good day, and I happened to cross a mirror and realized I forgot to put makeup on that day and my hair wasn't done, and I was like, "Oh, I think that was the first moment when I thought, oh, it really doesn't have to do with the outside. It has to do with what's going on
Mhm.
the inside. And how I'm feeling is a reflection of that. And so that was when I realized, like, okay, I need to, similar to you, like pull it back on the makeup. What does it look like? What does it feel like if I'm using this not to cover up? And came now where I am now, similar with you, is are we using makeup to adorn or are we using it to cover up? Those are two very different things. And what you're describing now is like makeup as this place of adornment. I'm going to enhance my eyelashes because it makes me feel good, or I'm going to put lipstick on because it makes me feel good. It doesn't matter if I have it on or not.
Yeah.
It's up to me, right? It's a form of self-expression. And if we're using it in that way, then I think that's a whole nother conversation versus I can't have my picture taken without makeup on, or I can't be seen in the world without makeup on, because ultimately that's a fear of being seen. And so what does
Exactly.
that look like? And that's where photography can really come in to a space as an art and a tool of this is part of the process of how we're going inwards to allow people to be seen. And I think that's one step of it when you haven't been seen before. And most of us are going through the world in these layers, right? Like different versions of us are being seen, but we're not totally in that space of vulnerability of true, authentic self standing out saying, this is who I am, like you did when you said, no, I'm gonna see what my hair looks like in its natural state. And everybody's like, why? That means, you know, there's a whole nother thing about aging, right? Where I think
Yeah.
the wisdom and the crone era of the white hair is so magical, right? But that's also perspective and how we're supposed to be seen. But when we start standing in true self and using photography as this process to allow ourselves to be seen by our own being, that's taking it into another level as well, because it's, yes, I'm there photographing and I'm seeing you. I have an ability to see people and their energy and the truth of who they are, partly because they also empathic, so I can feel it when people are not being true, right? But I can see it as well. And then when we have these photographs, for me during the session, it's not about what it looks like. It's about what it feels like and what are we processing? What are we moving? What are we moving through? And a lot of the photographs in the beginning that I'm taking, eyes are closed. And it's not because it's beautiful or because it needs to be a certain way. It's closed because I want you to feel into the body. I want you to feel the earth. I want you to get grounded and feel into who you are. And then now that we're there, okay, now why are you afraid of being seen? Are you afraid of being heard too? Like I do a lot of sound through these things too. And then after you have photographs where now you're witnessing yourself being seen. And that's a whole nother process, right? Where we also have to look at these pictures like, oh, is it touched up? Is it not? And it really doesn't matter because it's about what you were feeling. And so oftentimes the work that I do, yes, is it edited, but I'm not editing out and taking things and changing things here and there, like if a hair's off or, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
minor things, but not changing your identity or changing what you look like because it's essentially not about that. It's about this idea of can I be vulnerable and raw in who I am and allow others to see me in that way. Um, and so that's where I kind of love to be in that in that space.
I
Uh,
love all of that. And I love the point that you're saying it's a feeling. I think so many people miss that. And there's some great photographers out there. They do beautiful work. And some get it like you, that it's a feeling, that everything comes together in a feeling. Let me capture all of it. And some is about aesthetics, making it look good. And I love that you're saying it has to feel good. We go into the feeling and bring your energy out to be in the picture, basically capturing the energy, the essence of you in the photography, which is, I think, absolutely beautiful and fantastic. And I love that you have them close their eyes on purpose to go in. I mean, that's awesome. And you and I talked, and the reason for everybody else that I decided to do yes another round of photography, it was like, I love all these images, but I kind of want like my energy captured. I said, it's like these are all, to me, it felt more, again, aesthetic images, and I wanted like an energy image of it. And
Mhm.
it was funny when I told people, it's like, what is it? Is it like aura capturing? I said, no, it's not like aura capturing. It's totally different. It's like she sees my energy, and that's what it comes into the photo. So can you, you touched on a little bit, but can you go deeper into it?
Yeah, and so I always find it hard to explain as well because it's energy. So it's like, how do you explain in words
Yeah.
what you're feeling and seeing? But I'm very empathic, so I can feel mostly if what you're feeling, I can feel it on most days. Like if I allow myself into the space, especially when we're going into the soulography experience, because we're also tapping in or we're turning on. So we're like going in as a ceremony, and I address it as that. And so when I'm turned on to the energy, I can see it as well. So if you don't see what you may like, I can see your highest version of who you are, basically. I see that in the energy, and I can feel it, and I can it's not that I'm like seeing you in colors, but I see you in the highest, like in the mind.
Yeah.
I can see you. Because I know that's the way I could say it, because it's so difficult for me to
It
find words.
is. It is. I agree. There are no words
Yeah.
for it. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like this, but it's something I've always done and I've always known. And so it's been in spaces where people who like I've met people who I'm like, oh my gosh, you're stunning. And I'm actually talking about their energy and like who they are. And they're like, no, that's not me at all. Like I'm shy. I don't like the camera, I don't want to be seen. I'm like, but you have no idea. Like, let's uncover these blocks. Let's get in there because the truth of who you are is so magnificent. Let's like match that. Like let's get the all these blocks cleared so that you can see what it looks like from the outside perspective, you know?
Yeah, and maybe I'll give some people some example. Maybe it helps with some. I'm not saying this is exactly what you see, but this is what I told you basically when we talked, is that, a lot of my clients, when they came to me, they said, when we're not in your studio, or even before we came to you, or now that we're working with you, sometimes we see you maybe in our dreams or when we're doing meditation, and you're like this big tree. You're like this huge tree with roots and everything, and we know it's you. Or someone else told me, it's like you're this gray, wearing all white with like all curly white hair. And they're different words. Some of whom have seen me as like this bubble of energy.
Hmm.
So and that's what you're talking about,
That's
is
what I'm
that
talking about.
essence. Yeah.
The
So
essence
I,
of who you are. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. So I think people
yeah,
will know it's not like your
I'm not seeing
aura, or yeah.
yeah. I've seen auras before, but that's not what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said it correct. It's like the idea of, not idea even. I
Yeah.
feel it and I see it. And there there was like a few years ago actually, that space in the mornings where it's like you're not asleep but you're not awake, and it's like that not dream state but the download state where you're in
Yeah.
full receiving. And I realized what I see is the light of people, and that photography is literally the recording of light. So I'm recording
Yes.
essentially light is what we're doing, because we are light beings, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I mean when I'm seeing you in your highest form, is I see the light that's around you, whether you see it or not. And what does that look like when you begin to experience that? And the first step is feeling it before you can see it. So
Beautiful. Beautiful.
thank you.
And I just wanted to share with everybody, if you don't mind. So I have to tell you guys the way I came to meet Carlene and we said yes to this thing. So I think I saw her post in one of the Facebook groups, and again, I was drawn to it. And it, you know, like you're talking about the feeling, I was like, I don't know, let's talk to her, let's see where this goes. And immediately, as soon as we got on the call, I was like, oh my God, I love this woman. I love her energy. And she told me she had just come back from Tulum. In my head, I was like, oh, damn, you know, I wish I could tell her to come to Tulum. So we hang up, you know, I go to sleep. And then right when I'm, you know, as you mentioned, like I was waking up, everything was like, call her and invite her to come to Tulum. Call her and invite her to come to Tulum. She needs to be there. I was like, okay. I woke up, first thing I did, I texted her. I was like, okay, I don't know. I know you just came back from Tulum, but would you be interested? And she was like, oh my God, I'll let you tell your portion of it.
Yeah, when we got off the phone, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I love her energy. Oh my gosh, I'm so in love. And then I was like, well, I want to go to Tulum, but I don't know if I should just be abrupt and say, hey, I want to come to Tulum. So I'm just gonna hold the frequency. And then I went to sleep and woke up with the message. So it was like we were
Yeah,
energetically weaving
we were
in the ether.
connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share about what you're going to be doing at the retreat or photography or?
So what I'll be doing is offering embodiment sessions, and they're individual sessions. It's private, so we go off into different areas, which we decide once I'm there and fill into it. The majority of how I work is very different than like your average photographer, regular photographer. Again, it's all energy based, so it's really around flow and how we flow and where we're going to be is really feel into it. So we have a design meeting before Tulum. We hop on a call just like you and I are now, and we have a conversation, see where you're at with what's the relationship with your body, what's the relationship with yourself, like what does it feel like when I say, have you been seen before, or is it intimidating to do this? Which that really gets me excited because if it is intimidating, then this is for you. You know, this is exactly the thing that you want to do. And then once we're in Tulum, it's we go off together and kind of figure out where we have like another little meeting on, do you want to be in the water? Do you want to be in the trees? Do you want to be um fully clothed, or do you want to I specialize in nudes as well, so that's another part of this process too, is if people want to experience a full embodiment session, it's because that's another vulnerability of being seen too, is our bodies, the relationship we have with them and what that looks like and what it feels like to be in your body, and to understand it in a way that is different than well, I used to just really quickly, I used to do boudoir imagery, and I was never satisfied with the fact that we were doing these intimate photographs for someone else. Like, it's a
Mhm,
great idea, it's a great present, but at the end of the day, we're still giving it away to do this for someone else.
mhm.
What happens when we do this for ourselves? So we take away that gift of giving it away. I mean, you still can, but it's essentially someone's doing this for the gift of finding relationship with self or celebrating relationship with self. So you can be new to it, or you can be used to being in your body. Either way, the experience, it's still coming home to the self and finding the space to be seen. Um, I think that's what.
Yes. No, I love that. And just to add on to that, I think the not having the clothes on, it's important for some of the people, especially like, and I know one of my clients that is coming, I recommended to her that, you know, for her to do this and to do it nude and, you know, especially I know the jungle feel, the trees
Mhm.
over there has the different energy for her. And from what she's been through, I think this was important. As soon as like it was one of those things, the word was coming out, she was like,
Yes.
yes, yes, that's exactly. And I know she's gonna get so much benefit out of that, those pictures, because it is a gift to herself, and she's gonna see herself in a whole new light that I'm excited for it. I'm
Me too.
just like,
I
yeah,
got chills. I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, that's I've seen so many things just with people who are like, oh, I could never do that. And then next thing you know, we're in a river screaming and moving throat chakras around and and then tapping into the body all in one space. And it's like, oh my God, like what just happened? It's like you came home to yourself. You remember.
yeah. Beautiful. On that note, I am going to end this and thank you all for joining us. Please, if you have any questions about the retreat or you want to get into all the information for Carlene, whether you're coming to Tulum or not and you want to do this, her information is on my website, atusaraisian.com. Is a backslash forward slash, I don't know, retreats. When you go into my website, if you go under services retreats or just go directly to sarasian.com retreats, all her information is in there. And I hope whoever's out there, you're seeing this, if this is for you, come join us. It's going to be a great, exciting trip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.